Welcome, one and all. It is Bite Size Thursday, or as we like to call it here in Off Slate Studios, it is Avatar Day.
But not that episode.
No, but you know what episode it is? It's the finale, baby.
Guys, I think we spent a little bit too much time at the North Pole. I'm really starting to feel it.
Get a little chilly over there.
Just a little bit.
I'm so excited to watch the finale. Yes. Guys, it's so... I'm so excited. Especially because I was going to say before my mouth stopped working.
When did it start? Sorry.
Don't we get like a really cool sequence that's like in black and white in this? Like, isn't it? I remember kind of.
I remember he's like
because
world.
he kills the thing and it drains the color of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Is it black and white or is it red?
It's both.
It might have been.
It goes red when he picks the fish up.
Yep.
And then it becomes okay.
Because I remember.
He kills one of them in the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it goes red. And then he picks the other one up, and I think it goes black and white.
Black and white.
It's both.
It's okay, because I remember they got really creative with it, and that
I
is...
thought he put it in the bag.
Yeah.
And then he lets it back, and then it goes.
Yeah,
red.
you're right.
Yeah. I love that sequence so much. I'm so excited to watch it.
He loves seeing fish get killed.
I like seeing what happens after.
I was going to say, I do like eating fish, so yes.
That's a good moon spirit.
Pain. It's okay.
Let's get a little stardust on there.
Without any further ado...
Take a bite.
This is Greg.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We just watched the Siege of the North Pole 2.
That's 4.
2.
2 on both hands.
That's
Just
4.
really, really excited that it's 2. This was fantastic. I love it when Aang just gets like full on Avatar spirit.
He goes
and just goes ham on him. It's
berserk mode.
It's interesting. They always talk about how he doesn't really control the Avatar state. It seemed to me like he kind of chose to go into it there.
Which is that growth? But also that was the
but the whole
ocean spirit taking him over as well.
It kind of
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I mean,
I
he
know
looked
that
at
the
the
very-
fish, and then the fish morphed into him.
I know that the very next episode is them trying to train him to bring out the Avatar state.
Yeah, we
That's
get a
the name
lot
of the
more.
episode, yeah. The Avatar state.
Yeah.
You get a lot more of that next
I
season.
don't like that episode myself, but
I don't
we'll see.
remember what the next one was. I just remember I can't go over. This is he loses his girlfriend into a moon.
This is where we get the best line of dialogue later in the series.
That's rough, buddy.
My girlfriend turned into the moon.
It is pretty sad though. Like
It actually is.
Imagine
really
being
sad.
him and you already like her and you're supposed to protect her, and then it's something outside of your power, but you're still gonna feel that guilt.
Well,
of like, I
especially-
couldn't protect her. It's like, well, it's not your fault. He's like, and I think he even says like, I know, but
I know.
I couldn't.
And it's hard. First off, just seeing her like go, like touching the fish and then going, but then she sees him again and says goodbye, Sokka. I'll always be with you. And that part, like that hits me a little bit. I'm like,
Don't we see her again sometime? Like maybe a vision of some kind?
ooh, that's a good question.
Does he see her in his dream in that one dreams and
Maybe.
what is it called?
Does it do all 3 of them for dreams and it's like dreams and nightscapes or something like that?
I kind of remember
Nightmares and daydreams.
You're so close.
I mean, neither of us could remember it.
Yeah.
I thought it was something like that because this is when he starts projecting all his the overprotectiveness on Suki in the first part of book 2, if you remember.
Makes sense.
I don't remember,
First
but
part.
we'll find out.
Especially
middle.
Yeah.
When they run into Suki and he's like super protective because he's projecting how he couldn't protect in his mind couldn't protect Yui.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Suki.
It makes
UA.
sense.
UA.
Yeah.
Terrible pronunciation.
I know.
I really like that.
I also like the moment between Sokka and the king at the end where he's talking about his dream and Sokka says, "You must be proud. So proud. But sad."
That was a really, really good moment. I really like, and I know it's sad, and it does get made fun of later, like that's rough, buddy. But it really was like it's a lot. It is, especially for Sokka. It is a lot for his character to go through meeting someone and falling for them, and then they turn into a moon.
I mean, when you say it like that. Yeah. Kind of deviating, and it's brought up later in the show, but so Zuko gets angry when he's in the Avatar state, and we're talking about what's his plan? He's stuck in a frozen winter wasteland in the middle of a blizzard.
You're just gonna try to
carrying
walk his way
someone
out.
Like it's like.
I mean, what else is he gonna do? I guess.
Yeah, but where are you? Wait.
What was the plan though? It's like just get his plan was get the Avatar. It's like now what?
Now,
where are you gonna go?
Just because you like. There's a whole ass blizzard, and he's just walking.
To be fair,
where are you walking?
To be fair, he could have kept himself warm. But where is he walking?
Yeah,
that's my whole thing. Is where is he walking? Where are they?
Even if he walks to the edge of the cliff, that cliff is like 300 feet tall.
Like you're right. That's a very good point, Jared. I don't know what.
Someone brings it up later in the show. I can't remember. Someone calls him out on it.
Probably Sokka.
No, what
Probably.
did Ozai bring it up to him on the Day of the Black Sun? Did he say like you had him? What was your plan though to get out of there, or something like that? Maybe. Someone calls him out on it.
Was it Iroh? That seems like an Iroh thing.
It does seem like an Iroh thing.
Not like an Ozai thing.
It's like, what was your plan after you got him and all that kind of...
Yeah, like, when he gets... I feel like maybe it's the one in the town, like in the Old West town. Mm-hmm. It's some kind of... I feel like it's some kind of confrontation between Zuko and Iroh.
That makes sense. Also, I love every time we go into the spirit realm. It's always so, it's just so cool for me. Like and I love the design of the, what's that called? The face eater.
The face stealer.
The face
Ko?
stealer.
Is it Ko?
Yeah.
Ko. Like the design on Ko was like a.
And the whole thing about I've seen you before. You tried to kill me, and I brought up Jake. Wasn't that was that waterbending avatar that lost his wife or girlfriend or lover, someone to him, and that's because that's the face he showed. I think it's Karak, something like that.
Okay.
Avatar fans that know this are probably screaming at me if they hear me, but
deep lore kind of. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard that.
That's the Avatar, if I recall, that had a pretty tragic short life. Like that happened, and then he I think it was at peacetime, so he didn't have a lot to do. Like, what was the purpose of him? And then he died in like his 30s, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or something like he just did not live long, did not do much, and a lot bad happened to him. I think he's the one before Kyoshi.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
So
yeah, and it's a cool little like snippet. Just you get like the old.
Yeah. Again, as harkening back to the beginning of when we started this. They had a lot of this lore written down ahead of time. They had the show Bible, and that's just part of it. It's like, oh, this is part of the lineage. Mm-hmm. This guy did this. And it's probably, they didn't have everything written down. It's like, okay, we can add in this here, and that's part of the lore.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, I got their whole design out for it.
Yeah, but yeah, that spirit world is cool. They reference Zhao brings up how Iroh had tried or did enter the spirit world, which he's in the spirit world in Korra.
He is.
Yeah, that's a nice little thing. They bring up again his that might have been the first part. Yeah, it was the first part, wasn't it? The Bossing Say siege failure.
Mm-hmm.
They've teased it so many times and talked about him losing his son. It's like, it was there the whole time, and when you're a kid, it doesn't register until you get to Tales of Bossing. So here it's like, no, they keep bringing it up because it's a pretty major thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially because I know we mentioned the hug between him and what the hell? I just blanked on Zuko. God, I blanked on his name. But yeah, you can always tell that he's always had missing from his kid.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead.
I also want to mention, as I mentioned before we watched the episode, I like the style, like when they switched to black and white and just the red hue. And I like that for those sequences, not when it was like the red hue, but when it was black and white and there was nothing. It was just lit up by the fire.
Yeah.
Only the fire. That was so cool.
The episode is really well just to the shot compositions they have, like the way things are blocked and drawn, like Appa going over the blood moon there.
Oh,
and
that's such a cool
Zhao's
shot.
head in front of the moon, just everything with the moon. Sokka's face when Yue is, I think when she first disappears, there's a shot of like it lighting up in front of him. Like
Yeah.
the shot again with the fight with Iroh beating up those firebenders. And again, Mako's performance in this episode is the best one. When he yells at Zhao about like, whatever you do to that spirit, I will unleash on you tenfold. It's, let it go now.
I always love it when you can feel our Iroh's power.
Talking about the moon turning red and then just turning off. I mean,
Literally, it just
can you
turned it off.
imagine the terror of the moon just turning off?
Dude, especially
Like-
if you were anywhere else in the world and you had no clue what was going on, and all of a sudden, bye-bye moon.
Well, it was probably like that sequence in the first Despicable Me where the moon disappears, and then like the guy who's surfing, the water goes way down, he smacks his head on a rock, and then this werewolf turns back into a naked human and runs away off screen.
I do not remember that part of it.
Wow, that is
Despicable.
chaos.
How do you remember that?
Because his mind is chaos. He relates to it.
I will say, I love in shows when characters who aren't ever around each other really, or like characters on separate sides, interact in a way like Iroh interacting with them when the fish is dead. I don't know. I just always like that kind of stuff. Like not that he's been antagonistic towards, but he's always been on the opposing side. And then here he is. They've come together over a similar thing.
That's what you were saying before we watched it. That we're the first time where we see Iroh is more for the greater good than the Fire Nation. I don't think that that's true so much as, at least at this point. I think at this point it's more he knows that the Fire Nation cannot exist without the balance.
Yeah.
Well, and also the balance is quite literally there for every single person on that planet.
Yes.
So if you he knows, like he's been through it. Like, you mess with the spirits, you're screwed. Don't mess with the spirits.
That is called around and find out.
Yes, which is where you do not do that.
But anyway, what I was going to say is I myself like the black and white better than the red because with the red having the tone of red of everything and then the lights lighting up the color on everything and you just realize that everything still has color, the light's just gone. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's really the effects that it's so. Yeah, we have to give a shout out to the boy who directed this, Mr. Dave Filoni. Nicely done, sir.
Hats off to you, sir.
Cowboy hats off to you, sir.
Yeah. The music in the episode also that swell of the music when Aang turns into the giant fish thing.
Oh my god.
Or when he drops down in the pond. Like that's that's typically a trope that's used in like horror things. And they turned it to be a very empowering thing.
You're right.
And I like that about it.
And I think I'm trying to think of what other parts of it that struck me that way, but it felt like they've used like horror tropes to like and also just like I guess the giant monster kind of because it kind of looked like it's a spirit, but it kind of looks like a giant monster, and I like the design of the monster.
If you put
spirit as well,
big duck bill on it, it's basically a gold duck. Am I wrong?
It's a platypus.
yeah.
I hate you.
Perry the platypus.
Oh man. Did we want to discuss briefly book one thoughts? Since
I
this
was
is the end?
about to say you read my mind.
Not trying to step on your toes. I was just like, we should before we forget.
I literally was about to say so. This is the end of book one. Overall thoughts about book one. How is it compared to book 2 and 3?
From memory, of course.
From memory, of course, because we haven't watched book 2 and 3
From
yet.
memory, I've always been a book 2 stan.
I've always been a book 3 stan, as people say. What about you?
I also love book 3, but that's because I love just endings.
Same.
And I love setup. And
Yeah,
book 2 does that for book 3.
Makes
A lot of
sense.
people. I think the majority is people like book 2, from what I've gathered.
Because that's also where we get Toph, and she's a very...
There's so
It
many
feels
big
the
things.
most expansive as far as the world goes.
But book 1 did so much groundwork, and they it nailed everything it had to.
Oh, I know a ton of people where their favorite book is book 1, but for me, it's just I like after this turning point. I think the first bit of it is very hit or miss, kind of Nickelodeon type thing.
Yeah, it's the more Nickelodeon. There's a lot more meandering because they have a set goal, but we're kind of going town to town on the way to the North Pole. A lot of important stuff happens, but it is kind of like it lets us get used to the world without showing us everything. We see different people affected by the war. We go to every nation because we're in the Fire Nation a little bit.
Yeah,
we're in the Earth Kingdom mostly. We go to, was it 3 or 2 air temples? I think it's 2. 2.
It was one of the first.
Yep.
Well, was it only 2?
Southern and the northern.
Southern, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think they go to all 4 before the end of it.
That sounds right. So from what I remember of the other 2, of course, the book 1 would be, I think, the weakest of the 3, just because it has a lot of heavy lifting to do. And they probably didn't have the freedom they'd get later. First, they've got to prove it, and I bet you the Nickelodeon was pretty happy with this.
Well, especially, and it's very similar to that when I'm thinking of like other movies. I think it's specific ones that we covered recently, or not recently, but you look like How to Train Your Dragon, or you look at Shrek or stuff like where the first movie is very groundbreaking and it lays a lot and it does it really well, but because it did it so well, the second and third can just do it better because it had a good stuff to build on. I think that's the same thing with Avatar. Like it did it incredibly well, but because of that, you can go miles after.
Yeah, it's just there are parts of this season book where it's like yeah, I still like this a lot. There are some episodes where it's like, it's still fun. Is this as good as I remember, though? But then you get to episodes like this, it's like, yeah, you're just being too harsh because you're comparing, some of the smaller ones.
Story to
the big moments.
Yeah.
Because that's what TV shows do at the end of the day is you remember the big moments and the big lines or just the stuff that sticks out the most to you. You don't remember the in-betweens. Like,
especially
what do we say, like Imprisoned and Fortune Teller? We didn't even remember. And then we watch them and we're like, yeah, it's still good. It's just... didn't remember the smaller stuff.
Especially for 20 episode seasons, I think it's easier to forget the filler episodes. Because when I remember all of book 1, I pretty much remember the finale, and then with a couple of the moments.
Well, the beginning too, of course, because we see it so many times.
Exactly, yeah. But you remember, right, the bigger stuff and not the...
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten about the deserter for the longest time, and then it's like, oh, this is with Zhang Zhang, I think you said. I was like, oh, that's right. Why don't I remember?
But you remember the moment where he burned her.
Yes. Because again, it comes down to moments you remember over the episode. Because I remember him burning her and not wanting to fireband, but I could not remember which episode it was in.
Him burning her and not wanting to firebend plays out through the rest of the series.
Yeah, because we remember the moment because it's important, but I didn't remember.
But they also keep bringing it up. They don't keep bringing up Zhang Zhang.
Yeah,
at least until the very end.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying though. I didn't remember what episode it was a part of. I remembered the moment.
Yeah,
but it is a very good book, and
it's a great.
And the build to the Siege of the North is very good.
Do you think they knew what they wanted to do with Zuko at this point?
Yes.
I wonder if somewhere during the season they thought, because remember he was added late, and I wonder if somewhere through the season I wonder if we could turn him because he's in this spot where him turning could be is being a traitor to his country, but also he's already he's exiled, so it's like
it makes
they
sense.
Also probably realize that they need a firebender at some point on the side of Team Avatar.
Yeah, that also would help.
Yeah, and we still have over 20 episodes until that happens.
Yeah, because that happens at the beginning of book 3.
No, it happens at the Day of Black Sun.
Yep.
That's when he makes a decision.
Which is episode 50.
Which leaves only like 10 episodes that he's actually good.
It's so bizarre. I could have sworn in my mind it was
That's why it's so good. It's because it takes so long. You feel it so hard.
And he fits right in with them so well.
He does.
So well.
Yeah.
Oh, and you were asking about the movie where that moment is in the movie. They don't do the whole spirit world thing in the movie. He just goes into the Avatar state and makes a big wave and everything's gone.
Was it a Die Another Day wave where Pierce Brosnan is surfing down?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, Pierce Brosnan wasn't on it, but it was that size.
It would have been better if Pierce Brosnan.
It would have been so much better.
As Nemo.
It's Nemo.
Yes.
All right,
Oh,
anything-
yeah. I will say that was the last time, I think, during this show that we see Big Daddy Z, as we call him.
Yeah.
Probably.
Pretty.
Or as crap. I can't remember the boyfriend's name that was supposed to marry.
I can't remember, but he just got tossed off.
Admiral Chow, or did he call him something like that? Something
Chew
silly?
or something like that.
Chew, Admiral Chew.
Shoe. That's what it was. Shoe.
Admiral Shoe.
He just throws him right off.
Yeah.
Derp.
Anything else about this episode, guys?
Nah.
All right. If you loved this, guess what? We're doing book 2. We're doing book 3. So make sure to stick around for more awesome content. And if you'd like to know where you can follow us, Jared, you can tell them.
You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the funny TikTok. And then you can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. And you can like, subscribe, comment, and ring our bell here on YouTube. Please rate and comment on all those apps and check out our groovy website.
Absolutely. So, yes, please watch book 2, the first episode, which is titled...
The Avatar State.
The Avatar State. So, yes, watch that before next week, then tune back in to watch us give our thoughts. So from all of us here at All of Slate Media, thank you so much for listening to today's episode every Thursday or whenever you want to watch and listen to us. Make sure to...
Take a bite.